Hollow Knight Silksong has finally arrived to kick all of our asses. And as always, there's a group of bosses that stands out among the rest. Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're showcasing what we believe to be the hardest boss fights you'll encounter in Silksong. Obviously, that means spoilers lie ahead. But before we dive in, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Grandmother Silk. The fight against Grandmother Silk is reminiscent of the Radiance in the original. She flings giant needles you have to dodge, brings boulders crashing down, and produces screen-covering slices that you must quickly react to. Those having fought the Radiance won't find this too bad. However, what makes her a problem, and what earns her a spot, is if you fight her trying to get the Twisted Child ending and achievement. You first have to complete a side quest for Greyroot in Shellwood so that he curses you. You then have to beat Grandmother Silk while cursed, meaning you can't heal or access your crests, and your silk is greatly reduced so that you can't use most skills. And it is much, much harder than normal. Nyleth. There are a few bosses in Silksong whose greatest threat is their arena, and Nyleth, found in the Grand Gate during Act 3, is one of them. There are a lot of thorn-covered vines to watch out for, made even more of a nuisance when Nyleth destroys your single platform. Then you're forced to cling to one of the walls while Nyleth keeps up her attacks, lest you fall into the deadly pit below. She has a variety of projectiles that cover the area and emits this powerful AoE blast that's awful to get caught by. Mostly though, it's this constant jumping up the walls you have to do while dodging and trying to fit in your own attacks. That can be pretty stressful. Last Judge. Fought at the end of Act 1, the Last Judge will surely test whether you're worthy or not of getting past the blasted steps. She's fought in multiple phases, crescendoing into an absolute nightmare of attacks. She may not be that fast herself, but her flail certainly is. And it's when she sets her weapon on fire during the second phase, giving her attacks more range and damage, that you'll really be in trouble. If you can buy a flame charm beforehand to reduce her damage, we highly recommend it. If you don't, you'll be sorely wishing you had. Upon death, she also detonates and takes you with her if you're standing too close, forcing you to fight her all over again, which is just mean. Widow. Seeing as how Sister Splinter was nerfed in a patch, your first big difficulty spike in the game will come with Widow. Her speed is a lot to contend with early on in the game, as she dashes across the arena, dive bombs you, and brings bells crashing down from above. She also has quick recovery time after getting stunned, giving you less time to build up damage on her. She's even faster during her second phase, and her attacks come in greater numbers. Since these can come from different directions at intense speeds, it can cause a lot of us to panic jump around trying to dodge, only to leap right into the path of an oncoming attack. Tormented Trobbio. Regular Trobbio is a bit tough, but he obviously pales in comparison to the Tormented one. Fought in Act 3, it can be a challenge to get used to a pattern since several of his attacks can be done on ground or in mid-air. His agility and maneuverability also makes it harder to land your own attacks. If he isn't floating out of reach, then he's underneath the floorboards about to burst out with another attack. The biggest problem with Tormented Trobbio, naturally, are the new features not present in his first fight. His firework projectiles now cover a larger area, and his tornadoes are followed by their own fireworks, making most of the arena completely unsafe. Savage Beastfly. There are two Savage Beastfly fights in Silksong, and the second one fought in Far Fields is by far the tougher of the two. Since it's a flying boss, you'll usually need to jump up to it to deal damage, but it can make you regret being aggressive. That dash attack is already hard enough to dodge without you being directly in its path. The boss's slam attack is also annoying since it will destroy portions of the platform you're standing on, below which sits a pool of lava. It also starts summoning minions after taking enough damage, adding fuel to the frustrating fire. It isn't necessarily a complicated pattern, but it's still one of the more troublesome fights in Act 1. Scar Singer Carmelita. Act 3's fight against Scar Singer Carmelita is beautifully designed, but it can be hard to appreciate that in the moment when she's ripping straight through you. You have to defeat a group of minions before her, which is a little tedious, but can also weaken you for the actual fight. When she arrives on the battlefield, she instantly proves how dangerous of a warrior she is. She has the ability to parry your direct attacks, has a leap that produces spikes in front of her, and likes to throw her knives around, which can be tricky to dodge. And she just gets faster and more aggressive as the fight goes on. First Sinner. An optional fight accessible in Act 2, First Sinner is one mean, lean, hornet-killing machine. Her speed is even greater than Widow's, and her needle projectiles are even more problematic than Grandmother Silk's. As if her quick movement didn't already make it hard to deal damage, she also teleports and can heal herself to prolong the fight. Phase 2 gives her a new attack, issuing explosive orbs that cover about half the screen, while making her movement and attacks even faster. She at least doesn't feel cheap, but she is extremely deadly. When you first encounter her, she has the ability to deplete most of your health before you even know what hit you. Groal the Great. If there were an award for the most irritating boss fight in Silksong, Groal the Great would have it in the bag. You first have to fight 6 waves of enemies, some of the most annoying in the game, before he shows his face. He's got some really terrible qualities too. He can fly, he's huge and can deal damage just by bumping into you, he's got giant projectiles, and eventually summons more of those annoying enemies to overwhelm you. Worse, his arena features tiny platforms above a pool of poisonous water. While it doesn't hurt you, it does drain your silk, which you need in order to heal from the onslaught of attacks. If you die, which you will frequently, you'll find Groal also has the worst run back in the game, forcing you to retraverse the worst section of Bile Water just for another chance. Lost Lace. The true final boss of the game, keeping you from reaching the true ending, Lost Lace is naturally a nasty piece of work. While she isn't cheap the way that Groal is, she's the hardest that Silksong has to offer. Across 3 phases, she has a huge variety of attacks. Dashes, teleports, projectiles, tendrils, explosive blade bursts, waves of pure void damage, and some good old-fashioned sword slices. All of it comes fast, and all of it deals heavy damage. The only way to learn her patterns and get through it is with extreme patience, a lot of trial and error, and acceptance that you're going to die a lot. It's an incredible fight, and a damn hard one at that. What bosses have been tormenting you in Silksong? Share your pain with us in the comments, and we'll see you next time.